Welcome to the show. Welcome. This is the Weekly Wrestle 27. This is the Woozum. No, not the Woozum. This is Loserly's Wrestling.
Yeah,
That's what this is.
The Weekly Wrestle 27.
Sleeveless Saturday.
What's your sleeveless shirt?
This is my old Nights
Unite.
Nights Unite. Because it's a diabetes. It's like anti-diabetes. It says like it's to cure diabetes, but everyone who sees it, they're just like, "Are you a white supremacist?" And I'm just like, "No,
diabetes.
Diabetes. I'm pro-diabetes." No, I'm not. I'm not pro-diabetes. Welcome to the show, everyone. This is the Weekly Wrestle 27. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, we weren't here last week.
So we're gonna have to do a little double time. But boy, thank you all so much for joining. Sound off in the chat when you get here. Call the hotline. Call the hotline. Who knows? Send stuff to the hotline. Honestly, the spam texts I get are getting ridiculous. They are nonsense, gibberish letters. It's overwhelming, but I want it all. Yeah. I want it all for those little gems in there. I get Moe's sending in some action figure shots they keep forgetting to post. We got a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people sending weird things. But we got to talk about stuff. What do we talk about? Right? How are you feeling? How you doing?
I'm good. I've had a really good day today. Today's been a really nice day. My partner's back in town. Been gone for a month.
Scrappy's
back.
Scrappy and Hammer.
Woke up early. Did a little exercising. Took a nap.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. I feel good. How are you? How you doing?
You
back on it?
Yeah, I'm feeling okay. Weird week, but okay day.
Okay day. That's what matters.
Okay day. Yeah, it does matter that way. And we're all wearing no sleeves, so everyone who's watching should not be wearing sleeves.
No sleeves.
It's sleeveless Saturdays, guys.
That's right.
Even Tam, who we don't know and we can't see directly, is also wearing no sleeves.
100% no sleeves.
We trust Tam when they say that they're wearing no sleeves. We have some stuff to talk about, right?
We do.
Have stuff to talk about.
We do. We got to I think the first thing to talk about is Rampage. Did you watch Rampage?
Yeah, I watched it this morning. I always watch it Saturday mornings. It's my Saturday morning treat.
Yeah.
Anything jump off the page for you?
I actually really enjoyed this show. Thought it was a really good show.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Let's run through it real quick. Hager versus Eddie started off, and they didn't get any entrances, which I kind of like.
I like it
when they both don't get entrances.
Yeah.
I don't like it when one person does. It's really insulting.
Yeah. I thought this was a great match. I thought this was the best Jake Hager match I've seen in AEW, especially singles.
I think it's the first Jake Hager match I've ever seen. Yeah, I think he's had three.
Right. He fought Moxley for the title, which I was like an empty arena match, but it was during the pandemic when the arenas were empty.
Yeah. And he fought Cody once.
And he fought Dustin on pay-per-view once. Sure. And Dustin kissed his wife, which is very dated.
Cool.
And inappropriate now.
Yeah. Awesome, Dustin. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But I thought this was good.
Solid match.
And I love that Eddie won it, and I love Eddie won it the way he won it. They're really kind of starting to build Eddie up a little bit. I felt really good about it.
I'm always nervous watching Eddie because he sells really well to the point where I'm like, oh my God, his back is out. Like I thought his back was seriously injured. Connor's in the chat.
Connor's here.
Well, let's give you a little something here. Like, one of these. Come on.
Yeah. Of course.
Connor says there's some low-level South African boxing airing on TV right now, and the champ just walked out to John Cena's theme. We can't play it, unfortunately.
Yeah, we can't play it. We can just do it with our mouths.
But thank you, Connor. That's pretty fun.
That's really interesting.
That's a fun thing to come out to. Speaking of John Cena, we'll talk about him in a little bit.
Yeah, we will.
We get that. Then we have Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh in his debut match.
Yeah, I love
versus Davey Vega and Matt Fitchett.
Yeah, who are actually on the Indies a very, very good tag team.
Couldn't tell here.
Besties in the world. And we actually saw Davey Vega. Davey Vega was one half of the first ever Inspire Pro Tag Team Champions.
Who was he tagging with?
Jim Dad.
Jim Dad. Oh, that's right. That's very funny.
Yeah.
That was a very funny team. Was he like a pirate?
Yeah, he looked like a pirate. He still kind of does look like a pirate naturally.
A little pirate thing. But we get this, and by the way, Taz is incredulous. He's just like, he was 5'9" at the age of 9. I'm not even 5'9" now. I can't even be 5'9" now.
Get rid of all of your other announcers on Rampage and just give me those two.
Just those two.
They're
honestly
great.
So good. But Satnam Singh almost fell over going over the top rope.
Look.
That's a classic issue. Like you ever see when I think it was Luke Gallows when trying to go over the top rope, and there's an issue. You have to go over fast. You can't take your time because he doesn't have very long legs. He has a long torso. So like when he did it, his butt bounced up and he almost fell backward. You gotta do it fast, dog.
I gotta tell you, I love Satnam Singh.
What?
Oh boy!
You like that double crossbody?
I loved the double crossbody. I loved it. I loved his gear. There's never been a big man, like a man his size. Well, that's not true. What I'm saying is not true, but I'm going to go with it anyway. The bodysuit, the top and the bottom, I think it looks cool. I think it looks different. And, when you're that big, it's hard to look sculpted. You're just massive. So just wear your bodysuit gimmick and just have
I kind of like the idea.
And then that double.
I want less clothes. I want to see what this body looks like. He's enormous. I want to see, how Kali has pecs down to his nipples.
Yeah, right.
No, pecs down to his navel, not nipples. That's weird. But he has this large chest. His torso is all chest, and I would just love to see something the same way.
I love his gear. I love the crossbody. I love Sanjay Dutt with him. Jay Lethal's good too, but Jay Lethal's also wrestling. Sanjay Dutt is a guy ringside. After the match was over and they did that beatdown, did you see him get into the camera and just go, wow, 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 wow? I think that's so funny.
That's awesome. That's really good. I saw the end of that, but all the money's in the chat. All the money's
Kane. It's gotta be Kane.
It's gotta be Kane. And all the money's right. Big Singh man can move.
Yeah,
he can move, and
for his size, he can move.
He does.
I love his. Well, yeah, of course, he's a big man. He's never going to sell well. Yeah,
just don't sell. That's the thing. When he's they're punching him, and with these, honestly, they were bullshit punches. Both of these guys, they just hit him. He won't feel it. But the thing is, he was just what are you doing, dog?
It's a tall task. Both for Satnam Singh to work, period, and for these two guys to work with a guy that size who's never had a match before. It's challenging. So I give everybody credit, and Matt Fitchett especially gets credit. I don't know if this is safe. Probably not. But when he picks him up for the Razor's Edge and then just spins him, incredible. It looks amazing, but I don't know how you land safely.
Nope. You have to be thrown safely, and he was not. But Satnam, he's promised. I know Big Show's been talking to him in the back because he did the Big Show thing. He did the shh.
Yeah.
Big shot. And that's just I think honestly, this is where Big Show can really shine
100%.
As a coach for these guys. Just hey, someone's punching your stomach. You're 7'3". That does not hurt you.
Yeah, right.
That does not hurt you. I'm interested. I'm definitely interested to see what he could do.
Also, we spent a lot of time on Wednesday talking about that Battle Royal and how a lot of shots were missed and how they didn't do good. There was some really great camera work on the show tonight. They had a shot. It was kind of a crane shot of the ring during the Satnam match. And it was perfectly illustrated. He's standing in the middle of the ring. Jay Lethal is standing with 1 foot on the top rope, 1 foot on the second rope.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just about the same height.
It was
such a cool shot. It was excellent.
Honestly, I saw that too, and that was pretty impressive. Good job, AEW. Why don't you get it set right? And I don't blame the production crew for a lot of what happened in that Battle Royale. I blame a lot of the producers and the production crew. I think
Keith
there was
Mitchell.
lack of communication. Yeah, he's gone. Poor guy.
Over him, yeah.
Some scrub.
And there was another amazing shot that we'll talk about in a second.
We'll talk about that in a sec. But want to what? If you're just joining us right now, it's Sleeveless Saturdays. Throw up your guns. Send your guns to the hotline. Send your guns to the hotline 201-574-7.
Only want arm-related guns.
Only arm. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Thank you so much, Roy. Roy, you get one of these. Do not send anything else, please.
Yeah,
I do not want it. but I will post your goods. We'll post it. We'll have a good sleepless Saturday. Next up after that, we had a little Hookhausen bit where they both bought like little dune buggies.
Which was kind of fun.
It's cute. Danhausen has like a little golf cart, and Hook has this fucking hunter dune buggy thing. Camo doesn't say anything. It's fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I think my favorite part was actually after it was over when Excalibur said it looks like Danhausen's been going to the pay window.
That was pretty fun.
I like that. Something like that. It was a good line.
It was pretty good. Next up, we have Red Velvet versus Statlander. Chris Statlander.
Another excellent moment for the camera crew. When Stat's coming down, you don't see Red Velvet running. And it would be one thing if they saw, if it was like a surprise to the home viewing audience that she like clipped her, but instead it's a surprise to the home viewing audience that Red Velvet's running at her and then she hits her with not a belly to belly. What's that move?
Power slam.
Yeah, with a power slam.
Yeah.
Hits her with a power slam, and it made Chris Statlander look superhuman. The fact that not only did she not see her coming, but she also was able to counter it, and hit her with a power slam. It made Chris Statlander look amazing. And this match was awesome. This was probably my favorite match on the show.
Chris Statlander, this was her best showing. Honestly, like this, like I'm glad the boop's gone, the silliness is gone. She's an awesome fighter. She's an awesome competitor. She's legit. She hits hard. Yeah. Everything she does looks good. And now that she's taking herself seriously, it's much easier to get behind her, you know? Yeah. So I'm very excited for it. And Red Velvet as a heel,
it's actually really good.
This makes sense. Yeah. Like there was a lot missing for her as a face because she was trying too hard to be likable. But now that she doesn't care, she's hitting harder. Yeah. She's more engaged in the match. Great stuff.
The problem that continues to exist with the AEW women's division, and it's happening less so now because they're bringing in established people, but like someone like Red Velvet, someone like Julia Hart, someone like Anna Jay right now, among many others, is that they're all baby faces because the crowd likes them and they wrestle like baby faces, but they're just really generic, really, really generic. So watching Red Velvet be a heel is awesome. And Ty Conti, we all want Ty Conti off our television screens, but she's really good at kind of being that shit heel. Like she's very good at that too.
We'll talk about Ty and Sami in a little bit, but we have some news from them.
Oh.
The good job though. They just both did a good job, and you're right about that. Like the women's division, the babyface side, they need to have something to chew on.
Right.
Who are the baby faces on the women's side? Ruby Soho, she's kind of bland,
but she's a baby face.
She's starting to change it. She's starting to add some depth to it, but like for the most part, she's been bland. Yeah. Toni Storm is bland. There's nobody that has any.
Athena just came over. Well, I think Tony, you need to get, and that's the problem. And it's not their fault necessarily. They're just not given television time to establish characters, and it's easier and quicker to establish a character as a heel than it is as a babyface because you just come out, you do something shitty, you talk shit to the crowd, and now you're a heel.
Yeah, but like go in with a trait. Like I don't know what Toni Storm's trait is. I don't know what Ruby Soho's starting to develop, but she's
Can you define trait? How do you define trait?
Ruby Soho is like super passionate about wrestling. Like she's passionate.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like right now, Toni Storm, I have no idea who she is as a person. Athena, I have no idea. Well, she's just got here.
So she just got here.
But like, who are the other faces in the world?
And that's why Thunder Rosa, who's got
Thunder Rosa,
sure.
She's got a drive, and she's just like I've started from nothing. Now I'm here.
Right.
Like, there's stuff to that,
and that's also why Stat is the second best babyface on the AEW women's division because you've actually seen her character evolve over time, and now there's this evolution that's happening, and she's better than she's ever been, and people are cheering her louder than they've ever cheered her before. Like you kind of got to run with Statlander right now because she actually has this momentum, and you've seen her grow. She is one of the very few women in this division, and again, it's not their fault. It's the booking. It's the time that they're given or not given. You've actually seen her grow.
Yeah.
And the crowd can really get behind her because they're like, oh, I remember when she was the alien, or I remember when she blew out her knee, and now she's just straight up Chris Statlander, and she's awesome.
And just to talk about traits, her trait, she's like, I want to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And like, that's awesome. That's an awesome storyline. It just like kind of like those little things go a long way for faces. Just to have a reason for like with improv, not to bring it to improv, but just like go out with a reason. Like when you go out there, when someone initiates something, but you just go out there with a reason, like I'm upset or I'm sad or like, oh, I'm excited to be here. You know, like that type of thing. Go in with
my
something.
Go-to. I'm just excited to be here.
Hey! Funeral. Hey! Thank you so much. I wasn't expecting to be invited. That's actually a really good sketch. Then we get Ethan Page in the back with a great little promo on Miro.
He's so good.
Yeah, this was great.
Every time he cuts a promo, he's excellent. He loves screaming.
He screams too much. Honestly, if he saved the screams for parts of the promo, like, you know, the ebb and flow, because it can be tune-outable. Yeah. I get his passion and I like it. I like his energy, but like, give me some ebb and flow, you know?
Yeah, I think he's fantastic. He's going to get crushed. Miro's going to crush him.
Beat his face off.
Yeah, and I guess that officially makes Miro a babyface now, too, because he's fighting Ethan Page. Which is good, which is fine. I think, this 4-way at Forbidden Door might be the match I'm looking forward to the most, and the 4 people haven't even been announced yet.
I'm excited. I'm interested, but I'm very skeptical as well. But we'll find out. Next up, the main event, we have Will Ospreay, and his crew of people. I don't know their names.
Aussie Open is the tag team. Open
versus FTR and Trent. And that the Mark Henry thing beforehand, it's just like, wow, Ospreay and his crew look like stars. And Trent ruins everything, and Cash shouldn't talk.
Dax is definitely the talker.
Yeah. I think Cash should find something that he's really good at saying in short bursts, and then hand it to Dax, you know?
Yeah, it's like the Legion of Doom. When Animal would do the talking, and Hawk would say, oh, what a rush.
Yeah, or like when Bubba and Devon, you know, Devon started out to talk about once they found out Bubba could talk, it's just say testify.
Just say testify, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Cash is, every time I see them work, Cash always doesn't surprise me, but I always need to be reminded of how good he is also. Because you see so many Dax singles matches, and Dax is always the man, but Cash is also really good.
Yeah, Cash is awesome.
Really good.
Really awesome. And by the way, Mark Henry looks exhausted. He did have no energy for his time. And that's enough talk. It's time for the main event. You get no energy in it. But
the night before.
What we get is a little awkward. I didn't really like the match. I thought it was the worst match on the show.
Yeah, it was the one I was least invested in, which is a bummer because going into it, I thought it would be the one I was most invested in. But it's okay. It's all right. It's interesting that Trent got the pin. That was the thing that was most interesting to me because I had said on Wednesday that Trent was in this match almost assuredly to get pinned.
Yeah.
But instead, he got the pin on a member of Aussie Open, which is fine. And I just wonder what that means. Like, I don't know. For a very long time, since the launch of the company, they had always said, Tony Khan had said, the Bucks had said that Trent is a star. They always looked at Trent as a giant star. So I just wonder if maybe this is maybe the beginning of that. Because where's Chuck? Chuck's nowhere to be found. So.
And honestly, I don't see Trent as a star.
I see Trent, winning the TNT title and holding it for a couple of months.
For the same reasons Scorpio Sky won it and held it for a couple months. It's just like, oh, he's been with us for a while. We have to do something for him.
On a level of talking and charisma, they're about the same.
I wouldn't say, yeah, I'd say that. But yeah, exactly.
I think Scorp's a better wrestler.
Yeah. We have some comments here. We just got loaded up with comments. All the money says Ospreay can move. Kane says Ospreay can move. He can move, but this wasn't a good showcase for him, though.
Yeah, I think he probably doesn't. Well, he probably wrestles in a lot of these matches because that's what they do. In Japan, there's on a show, there's 4 or 5 main matches, but then the first 2 hours are all 6-man or 8-man tag matches just to get everybody on the show. So he probably wrestles in a lot of these, but they're not it's a different style than what this is. And I think he kind of felt weird. It wasn't a great showcase for him. I
kind of feel that this should have been FTR versus the Aussie Open.
Yeah.
And with Will Ospreay and Trent in their corners.
Yeah.
Because then I don't want to see Will Ospreay wrestle a 6-man for the first time he's ever on TV.
Yeah, and also Ospreay is supposed to be as far as over goes, I guess in Japan, he's the second or third heel in the entire company. So it's weird use of him.
Weird.
It's weird.
Weird. Very weird. We have Brett's in here. Turby's here. And Turby writes, "Let's go! It's Sleepless Saturdays, dog! Take them off! Rip." Oh shit! Can we hurry?
Yeah.
Then he writes, "LL Dub. All the buddy says, seriously, New Japan came to play. I don't know if they came to play yet.
We'll find out.
I want to see them play, but I hear what you're saying, Kane. And then Brett says, I'm LL I miss Rampage, but I can't miss LL Dub.
Oh, jeez, Brett, you sweetie. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And then all the buddies writes LL Dub spelled out. LL Dub D-U-B.
D-U-B.
And then Grow Plants says AW is better than WWE. Welcome, Grow Plants.
Hey, Grow Plants, happy to have you.
Yeah, it's great to see you, Grow Plants. What kind of plants? All the money says, I felt like they are holding Ospreay back in order to build for Forbidden Door. He will blow the doors down.
Who's he going to fight, though? Trent?
Oh, what a disappointing.
It would be an okay match. Trent is a good wrestler.
I'm not denying that, but Trent has zero heat. You know,
he has
zero things going on. Yeah, it should be Adam Cole. But yeah, that's honestly a really disappointing. If I was Will Ospreay, I'd be like, really?
Also, like, what are we doing with Danielson?
That literally facing Trent is like facing Al Snow of the Job Squad.
You know, that's
he's the top of the Job Squad.
Chuck should start his own Job Squad.
Honestly, that is
bring in Sonny Kiss, who I love, but needs to get on television, so we got to find something for Sonny Kiss.
Put Sonny Kiss in the
Job
best
Squad.
The best friends. Everyone goes to the best friends. That's the Job Squad. That's the modern Job Squad. And Cade writes a laugh cry. I can't mimic it. I do laugh cry a lot though, but it's more cry than start laughing. We have to talk about things, right?
Yeah, that's the show. That was Rampage.
That's Rampage.
We can get onto the news.
Yeah, well, let's go to the first news item there, Tam. Thank you so much. Everyone give it up for Tam.
Tam's here.
Tam. We're jumping to the news. Top of the news, and you already alluded to it with your pick. Cody Rhodes tore his pec off the bone while doing some weight training, doing heavy weight training, and then had a Hell in a Cell match. I'm sure we all saw the footage, if not the whole match. Amazing match.
Yeah.
Amazing for even without that, it was a very good Hell in a Cell. But this made it one of the most memorable Hell in a Cells.
Yeah, take this with a grain of salt, of course, because like it's all subjective. But you know, the Meltzer scale, the star ratings of Dave Meltzer, you know, he gave this 5 stars, and this is the first 5-star match on the WWE main roster for Dave Meltzer since 2011. When Punk fought John Cena in the main event of Money in the Bank. That was the last 5-star match in the WWE until this one. And yeah, it's an easy, I think I haven't gone back and done, sometimes my brother and I both will look at 4 or 5 different people's star ratings of a match and kind of figure out the average. And I haven't fully done this, but it should be 5 stars across the board. The Herculean effort of honestly both men.
Yeah.
Really make this really special.
Yes, it was amazing. Really cool stuff. Can't say enough positive things about Cody Rhodes, except for the fact that he had successful surgery, but he may be out up to 9 months. And that means if he could cut it down to 7, that's Royal Rumble time.
He'll make it back by the Royal Rumble. I think there's no doubt that he'll make it back by the Royal Rumble. Even if he's not fully healed, he'll find a way to make it back by the Rumble to win the Rumble.
Because he has to win the Rumble.
That's it. It's set. I know that their original thought was Rock Roman.
This is so you can't not give Roman.
Well, that's what I wonder. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. So they're going to do 2 nights again. I feel like that's what it's going to be. So I feel like the main event of night 1 in a non-title match is Roman Rock, and then the main event of night 2 in a title match is Roman Cody. Roman beats The Rock on night 1, and then Cody beats Roman. And that's an unworldly rub. Like,
who?
I mean, if Cody
beats Roman after having a long, hard-fought match with The Rock, is that really the best win? You know, like,
yeah, but does WWE think that way? I feel like they don't
and they'd say it. Roman would come out with like holding his ribs.
Then Cody's just gonna have to fight MJF on night 1.
Woo! Yeah. You know, like, I don't know. Yeah, let's go. Roman's like hobbling out.
Well, he could just squash The Rock in 30 seconds, which is probably what should happen considering The Rock's size and age. The Rock is going to tear something.
He's enormous.
And break something. Like, his body's not built for wrestling anymore.
It's not built for anything. It's genetically built. It's built on. He's 100% on steroids, and I think we all know it.
I think he's on some like rich guy form of steroids.
Yeah, he's very good with it. But yeah, very interesting stuff.
Do you think Cody's on TV throughout this injury?
No.
You think they keep him off TV?
I think maybe they'll have like updates, maybe, but that's hard because he's hot, and you don't want to let that sizzle go down. But
he'll be hot forever.
He'll be hot for a while, but I wouldn't say forever. And also, WWE changes their mind on things. And I'm worried. There's just a lot of worry, I feel, for myself that like, if I were Cody, I'd be having such an anxiety attack for the next several months.
I think the WWE audience, and again, when we talk about the WWE audience, there's absolutely an overlap between the AEW and WWE audience. No doubt about it. No doubt. But a large portion of the WWE audience is WWE fans. They're not wrestling fans. They're fans of the WWE. And their WWE brains are trained to always remember the moments. So someone will never, ever get cold as long as they keep remembering that Hell in a Cell moment. That's how it's going to be forever. Cody's going to be hot forever because they're always going to talk about that Hell in a Cell. They're always going to talk about the injury. It was so visual. All the bruising was so visual.
That's his mankind off the top of the cell.
Exactly. It will be burned into his brain. He's going to be hot forever. So he can go off TV. He can get healthy. Once every 3 weeks, the WWE will remind us of this Hell in a Cell match and this injury from Cody. There'll be a documentary on Peacock. There'll be this. There'll be that.
Yeah.
And then honestly, he'll come back hot as ever.
This actually might be a blessing in disguise, just to compare it with Mick Foley. You know, like if Mick Foley took a break after that Hell in a Cell for 6 months, let's say, and came back that November, he would have been the hottest thing in the company. Sure. Because the absence makes the heart grow fonder. How could we miss you if you don't go away? And like Cody came in super hot, just kept getting hotter, absolutely peaked at this match. Yeah. Not peaked, but like in terms of like he'll never get bigger than this, but like just ridiculous heights with one match. Yeah. And for this to kind of have some separation, and I think that's a good point. Maybe we shouldn't be as worried about the Cody situation as.
And the other thing too, comparing the two Hell in a Cells, Cody was considerably hotter going into this match than Mankind was. Foley wasn't that hot going into this King of the Ring match. Cold. It was the King of the Ring that made him hot again.
Yeah. That's a good point. All the money's right. Cody's push is big for WWE. Will be interesting who he actually faces at Mania. I'm actually starting to think if they want to do Roman and Rock, they should not. So like who would, let's just say they're not doing the 2 Roman matches idea. Who would be a good person to take the title off of Roman that would be a good fit for Cody and Cody's storyline moving forward?
No one. There's no one. Drew?
No, but I'm trying to think.
Lashley?
I'm trying to think of a WWE John Cena.
Sure. So Cena takes the title off of Roman. Well, you know what? I think this is kind of interesting, and I could be wrong about this. If there's anybody watching who follows WWE on the reg, I always say to myself, I should watch SmackDown, and then I never do it. Because SmackDown seems a little more interesting than Raw, and I think Roman Reigns is wrestling Riddle for the title next week. Like, I think he's coming back for this match, and I gotta wonder if
he's not coming back for Riddle. They're not coming back for Riddle.
What's happening?
Roman Reigns is not coming back for Riddle. Roman Reigns is not going to be there for Money in the Bank.
No, it's not Money in the Bank. It's next week.
What do you have?
I'm pretty sure I saw something that said last night Sami Zayn fought Riddle in the main event, and if Riddle won, then Riddle would get a title shot the next week. And I don't know if I'm right about that. I'm actually going to look it up.
Well, I think I saw something like that, but I didn't see that part. But my thing is with just real quick about John Cena and Cody.
Yeah,
I think that might actually be the perfect match because it gets over if John Cena comes and he faces Cody.
Yeah.
What was the last time they had a match together? Do you remember?
They had a match. And Cody?
Yeah.
No.
I remember vividly because it was one of my favorite matches on Raw at the time. John Cena's U.S. Open Challenge.
Oh, Cody.
He fought Stardust.
He fought Stardust.
And they had a great little match.
Interesting.
But that's such a good story. The last time I fought you, I was in that makeup.
Right.
And you beat me handily, Like, it just like, there's something there. Connor Raleigh says, Roy is correct. You got to be specific about this. What is he correct
I'm correct that, well, here we go. To Zayn on what awaited if he failed to win the match. Heyman put over Riddle's status as a genius challenger. I guess this is what's happening. So I guess it's a win for Sami Zayn. Okay, hold on a second. A win for Sami Zayn would bar Riddle from SmackDown. A loss, and Riddle would earn the right to challenge Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship. And he won. So
well, he just earned the right to face him, but they didn't say when. I believe he will be the next challenger for the title.
Yeah,
but I do not think Riddle's taking the title from Roman. That would be absolutely ridiculous.
If so he's double champion, right? I wonder if he takes one of the titles next week. So at least there's a single title for people to fight for. I don't know. This has gone on too long. This is all meaningless.
All the money's right. Hear me out. Cody versus Ted DiBiase Jr. for the WWE title at WrestleMania. Get out of town.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. We'll have a big. He'll get there at his welfare money.
It'll be a jail yard match.
Have you heard? Because
isn't he in jail?
No, I'm not sure yet. But there's definitely trouble.
All of them, right?
Yeah, all
Ted
of them.
Junior and Ted Senior
and Senior. They're
not
all been
Brett,
stealing
though.
for the Mississippi estate.
Brett DiBiase stayed out of trouble.
John Buseman's in the chat.
Yes.
It's Brittany, bitch.
And then John Buseman writes, and then Cody beats Cena, but Cena is Peacemaker. He should come out. Cena should come out lined with a room full of peacemakers, all saluting him. He's just like, all the money's laughs out loud. Thank you so much, all the money's. Connor Raleigh says Riddle vs. Roman next week on SmackDown is what they said last night. All right. We'll see
what happens. But why would you be? Roman has officially said he's not going to be wrestling on Money in the Bank. He's not going to come back until SummerSlam. So you got to do something. Got to get some title off of him somehow.
I don't think they're going to give the title off.
I don't think he's going to lose. I feel like maybe there's a schmaz and an authority figure is like, we're taking this title off of you or something like that.
We'll see. Hopefully there's something. Because right now he's still one of the longest reigning champions ever. Yeah. And he's not far from. I think he's in the top 5 now.
It's such bullshit, personally, but that's fine.
I'm fine with it. I would like the idea of a relatively contemporary champion being one of the longest reigning.
But like,
right
be
now,
there. Like Brock is one of the longest reigning champions, but he wouldn't show up for months at a time. Bruno was in the Garden every month selling it out.
Get the fuck out of here. All right, Cornette. Moving on. Next slide there, Tam. This is some heavy news. Yeah. This was on top with what I should talk about. Stephanie McMahon.
Oh, yeah.
Stephanie McMahon. So we reported breaking news a few weeks ago. We broke it. Stephanie is no longer with the WWE. She's taking a leave of absence. More things have come spilling out, Roy. Yeah. Have you been on top of this?
I've heard some things, but
something is going to really get interesting. I have a picture of her in her ECW cap, which she took over. Extreme. So they've been apparently she's been thinking about leaving for months, right?
Right.
And when she brought it up to Vince, it was like a shocker to Vince. Shocked Vince that she was suggesting this. And so have you heard that they've been trash talking her a little bit?
I've heard that, like, maybe a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
As soon as she left, apparently a lot of word came down that she wasn't good at her job, that she wasn't doing the right thing.
What was her job?
She was chief branded officer, but she did a lot of outreach, stuff like that. But once they fired some people in the company, she took on some roles that she wasn't necessarily supposed to do. Right. Like she took on roles and maybe she didn't do them the best way, whatever. But as soon as she left, people started trashing her. But something just came out the other day that's very interesting because her leaving might be directly involved to the MLW lawsuit.
Really?
So the MLW lawsuit says that WWE threatened Fox with taking away their programming if they don't cut their deal with MLW with Tubi. So Tubi is owned by Fox, and so that was the thing. And apparently that was directly from Stephanie talking to Fox execs saying, if you do this, we're going to take away our programming from Fox, that type of thing. And I think Court Bauer's onto something because so I think her leaving is a part of that. And I also think that them trashing her ability to do her job is their way of distancing themselves from the problem that Stephanie caused. Only Stephanie did this. Even though it wasn't only Stephanie, obviously, but they're treating it like it's Stephanie 100% so that they have some distance from it during this lawsuit, which I think is starting to become pretty legit.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
Bauer's shaking things up. He shattered the McMahon family.
I hope so. I feel like there's some reaching going on here, but I hope that's true. I hope it's true. That's great. It's very interesting. I never watch MLW. I never watch it, but maybe I should. Maybe they'll get some more money, get some more guys in there. Maybe it'll be pretty interesting. I don't know.
Want to know what they do? Want to know what Court Bauer does? Hire Stephanie. That's what you do. Turby's here says, I am Brett DiBiase. I am Brett DiBiase.
I said
Brett Pendleton, Brett DiBiase.
I said Brett DiBiase. So Brett DiBiase is Ted's other son.
Yeah.
And he's not in this. He's clean.
No, I think he's in it.
Oh, he's in it too? Never mind.
Oh, yeah, all the kids are in it. Brett that says, the couple of dollars, man, Brett DiBiase. It's pretty good. All the money goes thinking, mind blown, head explosion about the MLW, I'm assuming. Good job. Court Bauer's shaking things up. But
One
yeah.
can only hope.
Very interesting. Now we're continuing on with this weird bad news week. Next slide, Tam. WWE is involved with Vice on a new TV series with the Dark Side of the Ring creators. Meaning it's the death of Dark Side of the Ring. They were working on it. Is.
Hold on.
It is.
We don't know
it is.
There I go.
If they no longer want to upset WWE. WWE wants to control all wrestling history, and so this is just the start of it. I feel like Dark Side is done. It had its technically a worst season last season. It went down, and so them working with WWE, they're going to create a new show together. It's going to be like fireside chats. It's going to be like a bunch of like talking about stories. They already did some things with Stone Cold or something like that and filmed with a few people. It's very disappointing to me.
Yeah, it's super disappointing to me also. My only thing is, no, it's really disappointing. It doesn't make up for the disappointment. It's just, how many more stories could you tell? There's I'm sure there's a lot more, but there's also, it's kind of tough to kind of get into whatever. And I also think
I could think of something like Abdullah the Butcher would be a good one.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of sure. Yeah.
Fred DiBiase killing a bunch of Japanese people when he bladed his head and they all had heart attacks.
Yeah.
You ever hear that?
Yeah.
He bit a guy in the forehead with sharpened teeth. Fred DiBiase was filing his teeth.
Who is Fred? Is Fred Ted's father?
Oh, not DiBiase. Classy Freddie
Blassie. Freddie Blassie.
Wow. But he was filing down his teeth and he bit someone's head in the bleed and it caused a bunch of elderly Japanese people to have heart attacks.
Yikes. Well, there's a lot. I mean, I would love to know more about that King of the Deathmatch tournament in the 90s with Foley and Funk. I would love to know. There's a lot of Japanese stuff that I'd love to know. I would love to just see a documentary around the culture involving gaijin in Japan. Like, I want to hear from Scott Norton. I want to hear about Stan Hansen stories. I want to hear I want to hear all that stuff.
I want to hear Yakuza wrestling stories.
Sure, absolutely. But there should be a whole documentary series about wrestling in Japan and the history of it. But yeah, I don't know. It's a drag. But I guess you could see it coming a little bit, right? Like, if you really start to think about it, like, there's no possible way that the creators of Dark Side of the Ring would have gotten WWE's main lawyer for all these years without WWE's approval. Even if it was indirect approval because McDivitt went to Vince and was like, hey, I'm going to do this show.
I think a lot of things changed after the plane ride from hell episode. Yeah. All the money's rights. Bye-bye, kayfabe Dark Side. LLW is the last real wrestling journalism standing.
It's true.
Wow.
It's true. We'll tell all the stories.
Yeah. I don't know why I did that one.
That's a good one. That is true. I mean, JR, the thing that pisses me off about that, though, it makes me a little angry. Just a little fucking angry.
Okay.
Because JR and Tony have both said they'll never go on Dark Side ever again or never in the first place. Yeah, Shivani said it too.
Whatever.
Because of the plane ride from hell. But, like, what he did was wrong.
Yeah.
Like, we've been protecting Ric Flair for decades because he's a good wrestler. He's not a good person.
Yeah.
What he did was wrong, and that woman is only one of countless people he did this to. Why are we protecting him?
Jim Ross wasn't saying he'd never be on for what they did to Rick. He was saying for how they portrayed him, which was bad. The episode made him look like I was just kind of like just following orders, you know, and that's just kind of it kind of made him look like
he wasn't, but they didn't. I understand. JR's also a little sensitive, crybaby pants, but like he also he is.
Leave him alone. He was crying because of Martha Hart.
That's fine. He can cry however he wants about Martha Hart. I'm just saying in general.
Apparently, there's a story that I almost put back because I saw online some news about JR. It's like JR crying backstage. I'm just like, what did Excalibur say? But that was because of the Martha Hart
That's
thing.
really sweet. I'm just saying, like, they did actually. I thought they portrayed him very fairly in that show. They did a very fair job. I think he didn't do himself any justice.
He didn't do himself any justice.
Yeah, but he was also like
stupid things.
It was a different time and all of that, you know. And he didn't say the thing where he was like, somebody asked him, "Oh, why didn't Flair get punished?" He wasn't like, "Because he's a good guy," you know. He was just like, "Well, he had some friends, and he got away with it because he had some friends."
Yeah, but I think the way he talked about it a little bit definitely made him look a little bad. And yeah, Darkseid could have cut that out. They didn't need to have JR's but they did show it, which I'm fine with because it's accurate.
Yeah.
But the point that JR should get, but he didn't like that. I'm friends with these guys. Why'd they make me look bad?
And also, if someone's going to say some dumb fucking shit, it should make the air because people should be accountable for what they're saying. So I also don't need to hear that, like, oh, well, they didn't have to put that thing in about Tommy Dreamer. No. Tommy Dreamer said what he said, and I bet he was like, yeah, definitely put that in there. I definitely want people to know that I said that. Put that in there.
I feel like JR is just like, I bet he watches AEW afterward and goes to the director, just like, why'd you keep me saying that in there? But we got to keep moving on. That's sad news. But next slide, even more sad. Well, interesting news. Next slide there, Tam. Sad, but also possibly good. Paige.
Yeah.
WWE Paige is leaving the WWE. It's only good news, I guess.
Yes, it's good news.
Because she's leaving next month, early July. And she has been talking about possibly having an in-ring return. And I feel like WWE is hesitant to do that with Paige because they don't see her as big enough star to warrant risking something like that. And they don't really care for older women in WWE. I've noticed. Sure. And besides Natalia.
Yeah.
But she's not even older. She's like 33, 34. Yeah. She's about our age. I think she's about our age.
She is.
Actually, she's younger, probably.
She probably is younger, honestly, because she started so young. She's 29. She's not even 30.
She's 29?
She's going to be 30 on August 17th.
Lord God, put her back in the ring. Right. If she wants to go there, but why not? Honestly, boy, would AEW get such a catch with a baby face like Paige. Yeah. Paige would be perfect. Teach all the girls because she's a really great teacher, and everyone says it that she's such a great mentor. She does so much good work. Having a woman like that on the roster, then you're having Deeb, and then you're having some big stars coming over. Man, is she a good get? And she wouldn't cost that much.
Probably not. But if I'm Paige or Soraya now, I would say, what are you going to do with me? How much TV time am I going to get? How much TV time are all these people going to get? There's a fucking Hollywood movie made after her. Like, there's a built-in audience for this person.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's, again, AEW audience, mostly the diehards, are all begging to have her wrestle again because she was a good wrestler.
Yeah.
So, huge reaction. Huge
stuff. I'm excited for her. I'm excited for her, the things that she's going to do. Yeah. All the money's rights. My apologies. At times, I couldn't tell if we were discussing Ric Flair or David Koechner. Who's David Koechner? David Koechner? David Koechner?
The comedian?
Koechner. Koechner. David Koechner. Koechner.
Well, I think it's with a K. And,
yeah, it's a K.
He just got
The bad
busted
guy?
for another DUI. I don't know.
David.
David. Come on.
David.
You know
Come
him.
on. Keep it
If you
together.
saw him, you know exactly who he was.
D. Kochner. We got to keep
He's
moving
in
on, Roy.
Anchorman, you know. He was in The Office.
The bald guy.
The bald guy. Yeah.
Champ. Whammy.
yeah, that's him.
Man.
That's
that
him.
Sucks.
All right. Yeah.
Can you imagine Sky Blue, Anna Jay under the wing of Paige?
Yeah,
Honestly,
Sky
Anna
Blue.
Jay, both, but Anna Jay would get such a benefit from someone like Paige. But moving on, we get some spicy news. This is where WWE and AEW meet. They meet at a Houston hotel room. Next slide there, Tam. We got Jericho and MVP.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard about this?
I only read a headline that they got into a fight. I don't know any details.
Ooh, it's good. So Jericho and Matt Hardy hanging out 1 a.m. in the morning at a bar. Just
Matt Hardy, get out of there. You're sober.
But MVP walks in, just coming to his hotel room late, whatever. MVP used to be good friends with Jericho. Sure. But you know what changed?
What?
The 2020 election.
Oh,
no. Chris Jericho, if you remember, the election night or maybe the next day, Jericho's just like, isn't it kind of weird that we don't have the results yet? And then Lance Storm is just like, no, this has happened before. It's fine. and then what's his face? MVP just wrote, delete this. He just said, delete this. Yeah. And then Jericho blocked him immediately. and then someone's just like, did you see what Jericho put to MVP? He's like, I don't know. He blocked me. Just like, and so it just moved on from there. And so I guess there's been some bad blood. MVP goes in here. Apparently they get into a verbal altercation. And it gets to a point where they're just like yelling at each other at the bar. And then Jericho, as he's walking in the elevator, closing the door, he's just like, I don't want to fight a jobber. And MVP loses in the hotel. Apparently in the lobby, he's just screaming about it. And honestly, it's very funny of Jericho, but also I want to see MVP slap the shit
MVP
out
would
of
destroy him.
Destroy him. He'd pop his eyeball out of his
head.
Like,
I'd kill him.
You'd kill him.
Very nice man, though. MVP, I can verify, really nice guy. Jericho, I can't verify this, but probably not that nice of a guy.
Like, he's little. Every time I see him, he's a garbage person. But honestly, I wish MVP got a good hit in. But that's a really funny thing for Jericho to say.
So funny.
Very funny. I want to see that fight. I want to see that fight so bad. Okay. But that's that. Next up, now we're in AEW land. This is a nice seamless transition to AEW. Next slide there, Tam. AEW has changed its name to AIW. Did you hear about this? All Injured Wrestlers. Like that?
That's funny.
It's pretty good.
I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah. Punk has his foot into surgery, be out for a couple months. Brian Daniels has an undisclosed, possibly concussion, be out for a few weeks. Should be coming back.
I was wondering what happened to it.
He got it from that fucking brawl. Everyone got hurt. Everyone got hurt. Scorpio Sky has a strained leg that he's trying to work through. Adam Cole has a labrum injury that he's been dealing with. Jeff Hardy was knocked out at the pay-per-view and
Jeff
still
Hardy
was alive.
Knocked out at the pay-per-view?
Apparently at the pay-per-view, why he had such a hard time. He got knocked out almost immediately into the match, and he had a concussion throughout.
And he's in a ladder match next week?
Woo! Here we go! Extreme!
You know, I gotta say, that is absolutely Jeff Hardy's decision.
Team Extreme Rehab.
Yeah.
Physical therapy. That's what
that's not a Tony Khan alone decision. Tony Khan has to sign off on it, but the Hardys, whatever, dog. Whatever.
He made it into that. It's not good. But man, what terrible timing for AEW.
Yeah. Did you see Tony Khan's tweet this week though?
What did he say?
He said something like, "Oh, great episode of Dynamite. Also really excited to announce that there's going to be a lot of injured wrestlers on the way back. We're going to see them real soon. So we'll probably see some people next week."
Yeah, I think he says a lot of things too. I think he says a lot of things.
Telling the truth, but sometimes when he says a lot, he really just means one.
And also when he says soon, he means in the next couple months. It's not that. It doesn't necessarily mean the exact thing. Tony's here. Tony! You didn't say boom. You didn't say boom. He said that. Don't mess with Jericho. He's a friggin' wizard. Boom. Oh, he gave us
There's the boom.
Tony says Hardys are going extremely broken. That's funny. Yeah. All the money says first rule of wrestling: everything is a work except when it's not. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But yeah, they're all injured. I feel bad for. It's just a terrible timing. And the top stars of both promotions are out.
I just worry about Danielson
and CM Punk.
Yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
And I'm worried about Danielson, but apparently it's not terribly serious. And
I just worry that it's like, oh, your head's a little banged up. Great. Well, you're going to be in a double cage blood and guts match. You know?
Honestly, like I wish. Honestly, I don't. I know this sounds like you're going to scoff at me. You're going to scoff at me. I already see it.
I might scoff.
But WWE wouldn't push these type of things.
Oh my God. Here we go.
Like they I bet you like they don't want these type of injuries to happen. Tony's just like, oh, we got this coming up and we got bigger and better, faster and stronger. And he just like goes off a mile a minute. And like WWE would be like, even though they've definitely gotten worse over the years, but they'd be like, maybe we shouldn't put them in that type of match. The Cody thing was an exception to the rule that barely never happens. Never ever happened. Where someone was that injured, went to a match and was allowed to. It's just you couldn't get more injured than he already was. You know, you can't tear the pectorals completely off the bone. Like it's just whatever. But like if someone's had like you're having the Hardys, like Jeff Hardy in a ladder match, just had a concussion. Danielson in a cage match, concussion. Like it's just like maybe you should tell your wrestlers to be a little safer, be a little bit more. 4 injuries in the past 2 weeks. Like pretty bad injuries. What are you gonna say?
Nothing. All right.
Shit.
I don't disagree, but I also don't agree. But I also don't want to sound like I'm disagreeing with the idea that like wrestlers should be safer. I guess I just think like I just don't believe that the WWE has put all of these safety measures in place for the health of their wrestlers. I think they're just concerned about the overall press that comes along with it.
I'm not denying that. I agree with you entirely.
But what I'm saying is that it's stunted their product. And I think ultimately the whole idea, the whole draw behind AEW, other than the fact that you will get paid comparable money and you'll still be on television and all of that, is you'll get to wrestle the way you want to wrestle. So why would Bryan Danielson want to continue wrestling in AEW if he suddenly has the same restrictions on him that he had in other places? Like it's challenging.
I don't think the safety restrictions are what stunted WWE. A lot of other things did, but the safety because you can't do a pile driver is not stunting wrestling.
And I'm not talking even about that's fair. That's a fair point. And if you go back again, I glorify this period of time in my head, like 2000 end of 2013 through 2017, I guess. I glorify that period of time in my head because that's a time when we were both like intensely watching, and we were watching every week WWE, and NXT came up, and that was when the Shield, and then the Shield broke up, and that there was AJ debuted, and Joe was there. Like all of these great things were happening, and there were good matches consistently happening all the time, exciting matches all the time. But in the last 3 or 4 years, there's really been very little good or exciting wrestling on the WWE, in the WWE, other than some women's stuff. The women's stuff has consistently been good. And I do think it has to do with not so much banned moves, but like there is a formula in which everyone can work and they can be safe and be okay. But it also can get very boring as well.
I think that sure, but I think the safety precautions that they do where they're just like, no, not doing that. I think WWE, whether it's for PR or for the wrestlers' well-being, either way, I think they take care of their wrestlers a lot more than people say. The only people that said different are CM Punk. For the most part, everyone else that leaves the company, they're like, I hate the company. They took care of my health. And like they really did the past few years, the past 10 years. But like, I'd say that, what were we just talking about? Yeah, I think WWE's issue with being stagnant is an issue with over-agenting.
Sure.
Like we're too much people having control over the match besides the wrestlers. And I'll agree with you on that. Brett Pendleton says Hookhausen is the new Shield. You son of a
Who's
gun.
the third?
Taker. I don't know. That'd be crazy if Taker joined Shield, the Hookhausen Shield.
Yeah.
We got to keep moving on, Roy.
Yeah, we
have to keep moving on. This is what I was talking about next. Next slide there, Tam. Sammy Guevara and Ty have been engaged.
Great.
They have been engaged to be married, and they did it in Paris at the Eiffel Tower.
Sure.
How romantic.
They should stay in Paris for another couple of months.
Years.
Just stay off TV for a while so you can, like, you got to hit a hard reset on the two of them.
I think, there's something has to happen. I have a picture of them giving a headlock to Santa Claus. It's pretty funny. But yeah, that's all I have with that.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. No, let's move on. Next slide there, Tam. It's sad, and I hate this guy now. Jake Atlas. You heard about Jake Atlas?
There was a domestic incident or something?
Yeah, so Jake Atlas made an NXT wrestler that left and or fired. Went to AEW, had one match, and got injured with Adam Cole, and arrested and charged with domestic battery. Apparently, he was at a bar and he asked his ex-partner to go to the bar. I actually know the ex-partner. I'll tell you about it later. The ex-partner to go to the bar, and apparently they got into this, they're trying to hang out, whatever, and they got into this weird fight at the bar because his ex-partner was like flirting with someone else, and that he got in this fight. Ended up ripping the partner's tank top and scratching their arm. And then apparently they left, but Tony followed them back to their place and fought with them over getting the dog. And they went to the house and
Time out. So I'm laughing because were you referring to Jake Atlas when you called him Tony because of Tony Atlas?
Lord. Yeah.
That's
Imagine
funny.
Tony Atlas trying
Tony
to steal
Atlas.
someone's dog.
Yeah.
I got a dog here. That's how he sounds. But so he's not a good guy. And actually, I feel bad for the partner. And this guy, Tony needs help. No, Tony.
Jake Atlas needs help. Yeah.
Jake Atlas needs help.
I thought you said Tony Nese. I was like, Tony Nese getting involved.
Yeah, Tony Nese is arrested for domestic battery. No,
oh my gosh.
No, I won't say that.
Wow, that's I hope Jake, whatever, this whole story is bad and not good, and but I hope Jake Atlas gets the help that he needs, and whether he ever wrestles again is a different story, but I just hope he gets the help that he needs.
Yeah. That's good call.
Because he also has a long history with struggling with mental health issues, depression, anxiety, and all of that. As he's openly talked about in his time in NXT. So I hope that I hope he gets that.
But no hitting people, Jake.
Yeah,
don't hitting people.
And
jeez, use your words.
I think I just called him Tony too. We got to move on.
Joe's in the chat. Joe writes, Hookhausen is the new everything. AEW needs to build the entire promotion around them ASAP. Want to what?
A lot of strong opinions
You
today.
are fake news.
Sorry. Then Joe writes, I hope Sammy kept those dirty titles away from Santa because they're sitting on his lap. That's a good point. No, that's for Roy. Lego's breaking. Brett says Bray Wyatt will be the third in the AEW Shieldhausen faction. Very interesting thought.
You guys are out of your fucking minds.
And last bit of news for the day. Last slide there, Tam. MJF mystery deepens.
Yeah.
MJF mystery deepens. This is their discussion talk. MJF, the Meltzer has just did a story about this, that this is planned, as we've been kind of going back and forth about how planned it was, how not planned it was. He's saying that this is planned. They're trying to forego short-term financial gain, meaning, they could make some money off of him. They cut his appearances, that meet and greet, they had to do a refund. In all honesty, that's all small potatoes,
Yeah.
And so they're willing to forego it. And apparently he can pop up any day now. And I really wanted this to be a discussion of how do we see MGF coming back? Or what do we see happening next with this? What are your thoughts? What do you think?
I was laughing because I wanted to look up, because you mentioned the Meltzer story, so I wanted to see what the Meltzer story was, because I think I'd read about it. But the first article that popped up was DDP reached out to MJF after his AEW Dynamite pipe bomb. Did you read this?
Listen, bro.
Yeah, it's just so good.
Don't ruin it for yourself, bro.
He said, I've done some mentoring with MJF since he first came in, DDP said. I wrote him and was like, bro, I'm hearing some crazy shit out there. Call me, brother. I don't want to see you fuck up what could be potentially one of the greatest careers. I said, please call me so I can understand what you're doing and why. He never got a hold of me.
MJF and Tony Khan have worked DDP, Jericho, Eddie Kingston. Did you see what Jericho wrote?
Isn't he said something like, this is the best company I've ever worked for?
He's like this. Then go. Think the grass is greener? See how much money you get over there?
Yeah, right.
Flew up.
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston's just like, fuck ego, but like stirring it up. Or something. I don't know. He's like, leave. I'll take your money.
I don't know. I really don't know what they're going to do. Like, there's no possible way for MJF to come in. Yeah, and if I'm MJF too, I'm like, yeah, sure, buddy. I don't care about short-term financial gain, because if they're doing all of this, he's gotten paid, so he's already gotten his short-term financial gain and his long-term financial gain as well. So I think he's just hanging out. But I don't know how you bring him back.
How do you bring him back?
I don't know.
I had an idea, because AEW wrestlers are allowed to do outside things when given permission by the company and such.
Sure.
Want to know what he does? Does an Evolve match.
Evolve's dead.
Progress, whatever. I don't know. Whatever
he goes to
WWE
England?
kind of owns. Whatever the one WWE kind of owns. Which one do they kind of own?
I guess the ICW in Scotland.
There's nothing in the States that they stole?
Nothing in the States. No.
OVW. I don't know. Deep South. No, but like I just want to see him pop up at a different place.
I think he goes to Hollywood. I think, you know what I would love? I would love for him to do like a Snickers commercial that constantly airs during Raw. That's what I would like.
That'd be very funny.
Something like that. You know, like Snickers sponsors SummerSlam and he's in the Snickers commercial.
I don't know
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's like, how do you bring him in? And I feel like you can't do the like, will he, won't he thing or whatever when it comes to contracts and all of that. Like, I think Punk beats Moxley when Punk comes back in 2 months. He's the undisputed champion. MJF walks out on stage. He takes the mic or whatever and doesn't do the like, do I work here? Don't I work here? What's the deal? He takes out the mic, but then puts the mic on the ground and takes out a contract and signs the contract on the ramp and says, I get paid more money than you now. Give me the title. Or something like that. I don't know.
That'd be pretty interesting. It'd be interesting. Wonder what I think you should do? Sue Discovery.
That's a good idea.
That'd be pretty funny.
That's a good idea.
Sue Discovery, Sue AEW.
Yeah.
Spend a little bit of money on a lawyer. Get something a little cooking. You
Yeah.
know? That's how you sell this thing.
You can't do any of his old shit anymore. He needs to come back as a different character. Same, but he can't do this like, I'm so rich, I'm so great. Like, Wardlow works for me and all of that. Like, if you care so much about money, then if you have all this money, why do you care so much about whatever? You know, it's like he can never talk to Wardlow again. The Wardlow stuff is done. He can only touch Punk.
Yeah. And what he should do when he comes back? I'm sorry, Smart Mark, but you've been replaced. Yeah. He should have a team of lawyers as his bodyguards, just surrounding him at all times. Literally a bunch of people with briefcases, always walking out with him at all times to protect him legally.
Yeah.
you know, like, and that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We have a lot of comments here. We just really got it. Joe writes, Meltzer news is a joke. The fact that people consider him credible is a joke. He either states random things as fact or state the obvious as a fact in his story. Joe, you're just trying.
You're completely wrong. Yeah. You're working hard to stir the pot here, but I got to tell you, what Meltzer like reports is generally factual and has been factual for 40 years.
I wouldn't say generally factual. I would say he hears these things. He's literally given this information.
Yeah, he's not making it up.
I don't think he's making it up. He is hearing these things. A lot of the shit that he gets is made up, and I will agree with that. No,
a lot of what he says is right, though.
No, but he does double check. But like a lot of what he says, I'd say about 70% of what he says is right.
Yeah, which is a lot more than what Joe is.
No, I'm just saying that there's 30% garbage that he says is fact, and it siphons through, and then he corrects himself and such like that. And things change, but like you will get nonsense. But don't be Eric Bischoff on us.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that, Joe.
Don't go wild over here.
We're being nice, Joe. Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh, son of a bitch. No, Joe, we're not, that's okay. They should have, Brett says, they should have had MJF crash the interim battle royale, beat Kyle O'Reilly as the last two in the ring, and then beat Mox to go on to win the interim belt at Forbidden Door, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, but honestly, I think that would nuke the story by having it end so quickly.
Right.
It needs a little time to percolate to make it feel real. I don't know what's going to happen. I am tuning in each Dynamite with the hope of seeing MJF show up.
Yeah.
Like that has become like a thing. Like I want to see the first time he pops up again.
Yep. And that's the thing that's interesting is that AEW storytelling is so fascinating because either it's too fast and it happens very quickly or it goes on for a very long time. Mm-hmm. I've been waiting for Christian to turn on Jungle Boy for 6 months. Mm-hmm. And it probably will hopefully happen this Wednesday, but we'll see what happens. So I do think this MJF thing could go on for a really long time. I think we might not see him until All Out in September, if not maybe later than that. Like, I think it's going to be a while. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Hear me out on this one. He re-debuts on the 1-year anniversary that Punk debuted on Rampage. I just keep saying sometime in August. Yeah, sometime in August. I keep tying Punk and MJF together because those two people are just on a higher level right now.
Yeah.
And when MJF, and honestly, like, yeah, okay, they had 2 matches? I think they had 2 matches, 2 singles matches. And they really, Punk and MJF, I think they had 2. It feels like 3 makes the most sense, but I think it was 2. They had that one on
Punk
TV.
Won. No. MJF won 1.
Yeah. He beat him twice, technically.
He beat him twice, and then the third one, Punk won.
See, but he beat him twice in one match. He beat him once, and then the ref restarted the match because he cheated.
Someone's got to let us know the
And then MJF beat him a second time. But even after he lost, even after that happened, MJF made sure to cut the promo and say, like, no matter where you go for the rest of your career, for the rest of your life, I will be following you. I will be there. So and I would love to see them wrestle again. I'm not. I would love
it too. No, they're amazing together. Brett also writes, it may have been too obvious in relation to the Casino Battle Royale route, but it would have been the most fun route, in my opinion. Yeah. It would have been fun. All the Money's writes, MJF, NWA films in Oxnard often, just north of LA. Just saying. I feel like NWA is too small potatoes.
NWA films in LA?
Maybe Louisiana? I don't know. They said LA.
California?
Yeah, elaborate on that. I didn't know that.
He just say just north of what?
Just north of L.A. Oxnard.
And Oxnard
is in California.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's surprising. That's
I didn't
strange.
know that.
It would be funny if he won
I
the
thought it was in St. Louis.
Title, yeah, so did I.
Joe writes, the other guy, Ryan Satin.
Yeah, Ryan Satin. It's Ryan Satin. Shut up, Joe. Shut up.
Who's that? Wait, don't worry. What's wrong with Satin?
No, Satin's fine. Satin's just a WWE guy. He's literally is paid by the WWE.
Who is Ryan Satin?
He's a guy. He's like a podcast wrestler. No, he's like a journalist guy. He's like
he's a competition.
Yeah.
Why are you talking about a competition on your Joe?
No, Joe. I'm sorry. That was mean. He's not. He's just like a very clear, like biased WWE guy. And he was on that show. Remember that Backstage show? Was it called Backstage? WWE Backstage?
Was he on there? Is he a nice guy?
I don't know. He's fine. He's fine. People really give him a lot of shit, but he seems fine. He's just a WWE head. Sean Ross Sapp is also very legitimate, Joe. Sean Ross Sapp is very legitimate.
Let's wait. We got some more here. We got a lot of things here. We got Brett. We got Joe saying no. Oh, Jagged Little Me. Jagged Little Me is here. Everyone welcome Jagged Little Me.
Name.
That's very good. Imagine if MJF showed up at NJPW Dominion.
Yeah,
that's
a good idea.
That's a good idea because it's a separate company, and that would really stick in, theoretically stick in the craw.
Yeah.
Of imagine if he shows. When's Dominion?
Tonight. Technically,
that would be great.
Yeah,
that would be great because then Forbidden Door, he's allowed back in because he's a part of NJPW.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. It's a little soon, but I still like it.
Yeah, well, I would think it would be even greater. Like, so they stripped Juice Robinson of the U.S. title, the New Japan, the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship.
For any good reason?
I actually just saw the headline.
Is he a bad guy?
He's actually engaged to Tony Storm. And yeah, it's nice. I like him a lot. And it would be funny if he won that title. Like, he shows up at Dominion, wins the title, and then doesn't go to Forbidden Door. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm an NGPW wrestler. I don't have to go there. Pretty interesting.
I love it.
And he also already shit-talked New Japan, too, where he said, I don't pretend to watch New Japan.
That's pretty funny. Oh, man, there's so much layers to this. Yeah. Great idea, Jagged Little Me. Thank you so much for joining us. Joe then writes, you're going to feel so bad about this, right?
No.
And, of course, LLW, the legit voice of wrestling.
That's true.
You want to
Joe, I already apologized, Joe. I already apologized. That was rough. This isn't wrestling Twitter. This is LLW.
We're not. Wait, who we got? Brett Pendleton says, Turby, people might tune in each week for Dynamite in hopes of MJF, but it feels like even 2 more weeks of him not being there would kill the story just as much. Don't let the ball stop rolling. That's why he should start a lawsuit. I think that would be very funny just to get the ball rolling. There's bullshit lawsuits all the time. That's not
all the time. Yeah.
All the money says MJF still has his best friend is Cody. Still says his best friend is Cody. Cody held the NWA belt. Cabana has held the NWA belt. Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkin money, NWA. All the money's, I still think NWA is small potatoes.
Yeah, but there's nowhere else for him to go. There's really nowhere else for him to go. Like, he can't go to Ring of Honor. He can't go to Impact. He can't, like, everything is small potatoes. Yeah, except NJPW. Yeah.
NJPW. Brett Pendleton says, that's the difference between waiting for Christian to turn and MJF thing. Christian is on every show, and they are foreshadowing the turn like crazy, even without doing anything. Foreshadowing so much that it feels like they forgot they were supposed to do it already. Like, I feel like they've been foreshadowing for a year.
Yeah. Well,
Brett Pendleton, but if MJF is a literal no-show, people's general attention span is too short, and the story could get cold fast. Yeah, it could. That's where you have to keep peppering in things.
Yeah, lawsuit. Lawsuit. You got to also be, do a one shot with Excalibur in a couple weeks to say, a lot of people have been talking about this thing that happened with MJF and no one's has made any comments. Here's Tony Khan to make an official comment. And Tony Khan's just like, that's not something we approve of. Right now, MJF is still an employee of AEW, but he's been suspended without pay and he's sitting at home, blah, 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 blah. Rope Discovery into it and say, like, this was an edict from Discovery that someone who's that disrespectful on live television can't be on their broadcast and blah, 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 blah.
And also, like, what your idea about Hollywood is really interesting. Maybe just have him showing up in at auditions and stuff. Just have, like, pepper it in there. Like, I'm sure if he leaked out, like, I'm going to be at this audition, someone will be there to see him or snap a pic. TMZ would love to do it. TMZ Sports would love to find MJF doing something at Hollywood.
Yeah.
Very
it just isn't like, I think, we talked about him a few weeks ago and you made fun of him. It was very funny. Do you remember when we talked about Pat Buck?
Pat Buck.
So Pat Buck.
Pat Buck and I like to fuck. Remember that?
Yeah, my name is Buck and I like to fuck.
Is that from Midnight Cowboy?
Midnight Cowboy, yeah. Pat Buck was the agent on the main event of WrestleMania and walked out the next night, quit, and went to AEW immediately afterwards. One of the main reasons why I think he went there is because he was MJF's trainer and he wants to be there with MJF. And I think that only because apparently, too, after his match with Wardlow, MJF got his gear and left the arena with Pat Buck. So Pat Buck has kind of been the intermediary. And I think ultimately the difference between MJF signing an extension for big money and leaving to go to the WWE might end up being Pat Buck.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm loving all of this. I love this discussion. Joe writes, yes, Sean Ross was who I was thinking about.
Oh, yeah, he's great. He's good.
He's great. All right. Brett says, how crazy would it be if MJF did show up at Dominion and joined Bullet Club? If he's the new leader of Bullet Club, that's pretty awesome.
That is really funny. Hey, Cody was.
Yeah. All the money's 100%. I could see MJF working the TMZ circuit all over LA. That'd be fun.
That too.
But that's the end of the news.
That's the end of the news.
That's the end of the news. Oh, man. And what do we have next?
We just got to induct somebody into the LLW Weekly Hall of Fame.
The LLW Weekly Hall of Fame. Who are we inducting this week, Roy?
You go first. Have anyone? Yeah, I got somebody in mind, but it's going to be disappointing, so you go first.
Lord, why are we going for disappointing? Jeez.
I don't think it's disappointing.
Then why are you saying it's disappointing?
Because you're not going to like it.
Yeah, I probably won't. I'm going to say something like Cole or something. Is it Adam Cole?
No. For
Did
what?
I guess
what
it
did
right?
he do?
I don't know, because I'm trying to think of people I'd be disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, I know who I'm going to give it to.
Who are you gonna give it to?
And you might have give it to the same person. This person been with the company for a few months now. Been a part of a pretty floundering little stable. And I think he's a great wrestler, but he's underneath like kind of like a boring guy right now. And he's side with a guy that we all know who I'm talking about. He won the Battle Royale last week, had a great match with John Moxley.
Yeah.
Kyle O'Reilly.
Wow, right on. I thought we were going with the same person, but we're not.
What are you going to say,
Bobby
Bobby Fish?
This guy's also been with the company for a few months now. Part of a stable, part of a storyline that's kind of going nowhere, but had a great showing this past week. Ladies and gentlemen, Satnam Singh. Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
The LLW Hall of Fame.
Welcome.
Great gear. Great cross body across two people.
And you love his tilt-a-whirl razor?
I love the tilt-a-whirl razor's edge. Realistically, this is a two-person induction. Because, yes, I want to induct Satnam Singh, but I also have to induct Sanjay Dutt as well.
No, you can only induct one. You said Satnam Singh, and we're already
Well, that's fine. Satnam Singh's getting inducted. That's great. I'm proud of that.
I'm so disappointed.
Let's
Everyone
go,
welcome
Satnam.
Kyle O'Reilly and Satnam Singh to the LLW HOF class of June 11th.
Yeah.
Brett says Twitch, question mark? We doing Twitch after this?
We'll talk about it off air.
So no, Brett. And then Brett says, "Let's go, Kyle O'Reilly, baby! Hit the music!" Very fun.
Who beat Walter White beat Kyle O'Reilly, right?
What?
Walter
White destroyed Kyle O'Reilly. Oh, was it Walter White or was it Donkey Kong?
No, it was Walter White. It was Walter White.
All the money says, "Congratulations, Kyle O'Reilly and Big Man Singh."
Big Man Singh.
Big Man Singh isn't a bad name at all.
It's hard being that big. And he's doing his best.
All right, you have turned a complete 180 on this guy.
I liked it. I always thought it was interesting.
He's got a big head. Joe writes, Danhausen would own O'Reilly. Oh, Brett and Joe gonna get at it.
You have to find out.
Wow, what fun we've had. Thank you all so much for joining us. This has been Loser Leaves Wrestling, the weekly wrestle. We're here every Wednesday and Saturday. We occasionally put out podcasts.
We got to get back on it.
We got to get back on it. We really have to. Brett says, "Don't ever bring up Walter White's cheap win over the GOAT." You can see that on Twitch if you want to. We definitely had that match this past LLW Compulsion. Joe writes, "How is Cody not your number one after last Sunday's performance?"
That's actually a really good point. That's a good point. We only ever think of AEW guys. We never think of WWE guys.
I think we actually have to make an amendment and add a special
There's going to be a special third.
A special third to Cody Rhodes, to the match. No, to Cody. Or, what do you think?
I think it should be the match because Seth deserves a ton of credit for working safe with a guy who was very, very, very hurt. So I think the match, the AEW induction of the match wing of the AEW Weekly Hall of Fame, the first ever inductee into the match wing of the AEW, which we should do weekly. We should do one match every week. We should do that. Okay. I think that's great. And it's going to be Cody
shit matches.
Well, if we don't have inductions, then there's no
we have a 10-man tag, and this is the best one that night.
Always a good match. If it wasn't for the Cody Seth match, I would have inducted Pac versus Buddy Matthews, because that was an awesome match. The Hall of Awesome.
Good thought, Joe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. Sorry I'm so mean to you, Joe. Sorry I'm rough.
No. Joe's trying to push your buttons, and I know
it's working.
He's trying to get you lit up. He knows how you feel about Eddie Kingston, and he wants to get it going. I see it. But thank you all so much for joining us. This is Loser Leaves Wrestling. Follow us everywhere, Loser Leaves Wrestling, on Instagram. Get us on Twitch. Find out all the episodes of LLW Compulsion on Twitch.
They're all there.
They're all there. And if you join our Patreon, you get to see exclusive, because they take them down Twitch. You know that, right?
They take them down? They take the episodes down?
After 2 weeks, they take them down.
I didn't know that.
But I've been saving them, and they are going to be available on the Patreon.
Oh, that's cool. That's fun.
I have all the compulsions on Patreon. Yeah. But thank you all so much for joining. Call the hotline, leave a message, and join us this Wednesday for the Who's and What's of AEW Dynamite. Yeah. My name is Red Jefferson, And I'm here with Hammer, Roy Hammer.
Hey.
Hey.
Bye-bye.
Hey.
Olay.
Macho man. I want to be a macho man.
Olay. Olay.